Happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. My name is Andrew Heischman. I'm the lead forecaster here in WW16. Like I said, I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday. I hope everyone has a wonderful week as we are now in the beginning of a brand new week. So in today's video, we're going to basically be taking a look here at the tropics like we usually do. We are still in hurricane season. We'll be taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center to see if there's any threat for severe weather over the next 3 days. We'll be taking a look at the current observations in terms of satellite, kind of see what's going on, in terms of cloud cover and, just overall conditions. And then we'll be taking a look here at the forecast models to see what we can expect, further down the line. And then we'll be taking a look at the end of the video at the National Weather Service hazards, warnings, watches, advisories, etc. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. So as you can already see here in the Atlantic, there's really not much going on, even though it says like in white text here. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 48 hours. I even take a look at ECNS ensembles, and basically that's just model data. There's nothing really happening. The Atlantic is basically dead at this point. But like I said, we are still in hurricane season. This can definitely ramp up over the next, little bit. But generally, over the next few days, nothing is expected. We move on to the Eastern Pacific. The same thing. Not much going on here either. And we move on to the Western Pacific. Literally the same thing. So in terms of the tropics are basically dead at this point. But like I said, we are still in hurricane season, and this, typically has its waves, its up and down periods where, you could see a lot of activity for 1 second and then it goes silent. And you can see a lot of more activity. Basically, it's just like a pattern. It keeps on going on. Basically until the end of hurricane season, which we do still have a bit of time. I believe it's November 31st. So we still have a little bit over a month of hurricane season left, in which we could still see some tropical cyclones, which this season's actually been pretty active in terms of the number of tropical cyclones. However, it does not beat compared to last year. Last year had the most amount of tropical cyclones on record in the Atlantic, with a total of 30 named storms. That's a lot. We even had to go in the Greek alphabet and stuff like that, which honestly, that was a pretty crazy year in terms of, really everything. You had the, coronavirus, and then you had the, basically just everything, in terms of the weather too. The weather was hectic as well. We had a very, very strong La Nina in the Pacific Ocean near the equator. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look here at the Storm Prediction Center, see what's going on here. This is day one. This is just today. Today being Monday, the 18th. Basically, not much expected here. Basically, we are in a TSTM risk here in this light shades of green, basically for bits of the upper elevation of the Rockies. We do have two areas here, basically in Texas, which, just generalized thunderstorms, not really meeting, severe criteria, can be possible in these areas. But generally, no severe thunderstorms, no organized severe thunderstorms are expected. Same thing with day two, not much, basically just, general thunderstorm risk possible. Could have a few thunderstorms here across the Midwest here in bits of the, pretty much just the Midwest here. So that's what we're dealing with there. We do have another one down here towards, the southeast here, for bits of, the coastal Texas here. Basically just, the northern coast, stretching through Louisiana into Mississippi and then, kind of cutting off right here, towards the Alabama line. We do have another one here across the west coast here, basically for basically northern California and basically southwestern Oregon as well. But generally nothing really expected. Same thing, day three, kind of a larger area here of general thunderstorms expected. However, severe, in terms of severe weather, nothing's really too expected at this time. So we are staying in a TSTM risk as it is basically under severe criteria. So with that being said, kind of in terms of the tropics and in terms of the general severe weather, there's really not much going on. It's kind of a silent term here in weather. I guess that's good for people, in terms of damage-wise, not much is really expected from this. But for us, severe weather enthusiasts and our tropical enthusiasts, this is kind of a boring time, but it's good for, most of the folks out there. So let's go and take a look here at the satellite and radar. We actually do have two areas of low pressure. We have another one moving here into the states. Basically over here of basically southwest United States, near California and Nevada, there's this area of low pressure. You can see this, overall cloud obstruction here going on too. Basically overcast skies expected around in these areas. We also do have another area of low pressure here across the northeast. This is actually moving, to the northeast basically. This is, the result. We've had a cold front move here across the mid-Atlantic here just the other day in the local region. It brought the temperatures quite down. We even got pretty cold last night in the 40s. The last 2 nights have gotten in the 40s. But generally, with two areas of low pressure, we actually do have an area of high pressure across basically the central United States. This is bringing a lot of good weather for the majority of the people. So you do have ridging, with areas of low pressure, you have what we call troughing, basically a dip down in the jet stream. And then with the high pressure, you have what we call ridging, which is the opposite. It's basically a ridging, kind of like a hill or a mountain or something. You can kind of look at it that way. But generally, the jet stream bends, and then it bends again, and then it kind of shoots off with this low pressure. So basically, what typically high pressure brings is basically good conditions. Mostly clear skies. As we can actually see here, this white area, this is all basically just cloud cover. This is showing areas of clouds, and then of course much of the United States is really in the clear if we look at it that way. So generally over the last while, it's been kind of nice here. You can see kind of in these upper elevations how the white doesn't change. That is basically snowfall that has accumulated. We did have that winter storm that basically moved across here a little bit back, I'd say near a week ago or something. But generally, a lot of the snow that's, fallen across Montana, in bits of that area, has actually melted. As you can see here, it's mostly, green now, mostly green and, tan, showing that that's the surface showing. However, we do still have some snow here, as you can see, in the upper elevations, basically, where it's colder always. Higher you go up, the colder it does get. But that's basically what we're dealing with in terms of that. So overall, a nice day, for much of the people across the nation, even here in the local region. And we've seen, a little bit of upper level clouds, and this is me observing when I was outside a few minutes ago. Mostly sunny skies, definitely. There's a few clouds here and there, but they're really, really thin, and they're really up in the upper atmosphere, so the sun can easily shine right through them. But generally, nice day for much of the United States. So let's go and take a look here at forecast models. We'll take a look at the not the ocean temps. We'll be taking a look at the surface temperatures. Basically, we'll be taking a look here. As we can see, this is the run for NAM. This is a shorter, kind of a mid-range model. We do see a kind of a cold front moving here across, bits of the northern Great Plains here. Generally moving to the east, we do have an area of low pressure that's forming here, over like basically northwestern Iowa. This is basically tracking to the east, it looks like, and eventually getting here towards the northeast. This will actually be a kind of a cool down for a lot of people. If we're going to take this a little bit further, we'll take a look here at GFS. We can see that area of low pressure. We got to move forward, further in here. This is basically going to start bringing some freezing temperatures down the line for much of the, basically from Pennsylvania all the way through Maine. So a lot of the Northeast will be starting to see their first freezing temperatures here in the next little bit. This is forecast hour 168. This is for October 25th, so this is obviously still a few days out. But this thing's generally going to cause kind of a bit of a cool down here. As you can see, that area of low pressure, moving here, we have advection. So basically, we just have some of this tropical air moving up north, and then we have, of course, that cooler air coming down from the basically the northwest here. And this thing generally moves to the east, basically east-northeast. It'll basically be affecting, a lot of the areas here, bringing those temperatures down. So in terms of precipitation, let's go ahead and take a look here at winter precip type. So basically, we can look at snow and everything. So as we can see later on in the hazards when we get there, we do have winter storm warnings and stuff of effect here for basically bits of the upper elevations, which we can actually see there is, a few, like maybe a little winter storm going on here. I didn't mean to take that sounding. But maybe a little winter storm going on here. We'll actually take a look here, snow accumulations here in a moment. But this is, along with that area of low pressure, this is generally going to move to the, basically to the east. We can actually already see the area of low pressure located right here. This is basically going to be continuing and moving across the states. So basically, for the upper elevations, you will probably see snow, but this thing will mostly turn into a, basically a rain event as it goes across, much of the other areas. So in terms of snowfall accumulation, we'll go ahead and take a look back here at NAM. We can actually see, also where that snow is located. Basically, when it reaches those lower elevations, that's whenever it basically turns over to full-on rain. But like I said, temperatures at nighttime can get pretty cold. Here for basically the northern Great Plains, which is the Midwest and the Northeast. This is probably going to be, a significant, temperature drop over the next few days. So in terms of snow accumulation, we'll go and take a look here at this. Basically, we could see, a decent amount of snowfall. This is actually projecting here, kind of looking at 15 or so inches. We can actually zoom in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at float 2. This is basically where this is going on. But generally, a good amount of snow is expected to fall here throughout, like, Wyoming. As we can see, according to NAM, this is just one model, by the way. This is showing 18 inches here. This is basically for, much of the central areas of the state. We do have, some snow falling here as well bits of Colorado we can see in the upper elevations. Maybe a little bit of snowfall is possible, which we'll get into the warnings here in a moment, so we can kind of really show where these potential threat areas are. I guess we can take a look here at Namnest too with this. This is honestly kind of a crazy model, but look at this. This is showing snowfall accumulation up in the 30s, but I would not take that seriously, because Namnest is kind of a crazy model. Also, this is one run, one model. As we can see that there's kind of a significant difference here, in terms of, this is like lower 20s with the NAM model. Take a look at RAP here. We'll see what this is showing. I mean, this is showing, in the 30s too as well. So basically what we can do is we can take an average of what, all the models are saying. That'll give us a better idea of what to expect. But generally a good amount of snowfall falling across here, maybe just under a foot in most areas. You can get, definitely higher locally. Talking 19 inches here, and of course here across the western part of the state, reaching 30 inches or so. In terms of HRRR, basically, yeah, it looks like a good amount of snowfall is actually falling as well with this storm. So that's basically what we're dealing with here. This is GFS. Of course, this is a lower resolution model. But, overall, this is showing a good amount of snowfalls falling, and we do have winter storm warnings in effect, which we'll actually take a look at right now. So we'll go ahead and start on the non-precipitation side of things. We do have a red flag warning basically in this area here, basically just southeastern Colorado. Basically fire weather is possible, threat for wildfires and stuff. We move on to the winter side of things. Actually, before we do that, we do have actually a large field of wind advisories here for bits of basically the southwest here, for bits of, like Arizona here and basically Nevada and, just areas around in here, California. But generally, that's what we're dealing on the non-precipitation side of things. I don't really know too much about, the criteria of what exactly you can expect in this area, but just based off of what it's saying, wind advisory, you could probably obviously, kind of know what that is. Basically just, potential for gusty winds and stuff. We move on to winter side of things. We do have winter storm, basically winter storm warnings in effect, for bits of like Wyoming here. We can see winter storm warnings. We do have winter storm watches across, this kind of lighter shade. And of course we do have winter weather advisories, basically for these areas. So basically, yeah, there's, generally there's winter storm, conditions expected, as we've seen with all those forecast models showing a decent amount of snow falling, for, across that area. And then we move on to the flooding side of things. We do still have some flooding, going across the southeast, basically here. We have just in Texas, basically the southern Great Plains. We do have a bit of flooding going on, basically. I'm sure you can probably understand what that is. Move on to the southeast, we do have a bit of flooding here in Georgia as well as Florida. But that's basically what we're dealing with in terms of the weather here. Not really too much exciting going on at the moment. However, this will probably change, as the snow starts to fall, basically, and as that area of low pressure does move to the east. So generally, that is what we are expecting. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day today. That wraps up the end of the video for today. I will see you guys tomorrow, as I'll be recording another video. But if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below, as I will get to them. If you, even if you want like a little local forecast for your region, I'll be glad to help you out with that. But generally, all right. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day today. My name is Andrew Heischman, and I'll see you guys in the next video.